What in the world? Okay. What in the world? Stupid rock not giving me superpowers. Maybe it's because it's not blue. Or alien. Or I didn't find it in a hole in the ground. Guess I'll never truly know why. Hello, YouTube. So, a pattern is starting to form here. So far, every found footage movie we've looked at has had some big marketing gimmick, and this one's no different. 3 human-shaped drones were flown around New York for a few hours, and people were, of course, confused. It was later revealed that Fox was behind it, and it worked. The movie did very well at the box office, and has since been seen as one of the better found footage movies. But is it worthy of that praise? Well, yes, but let's get into why. Steve, May, and Andrew find a hole in the ground at a party. A strange humming is emanating from it, so they decide to investigate. Because when you see a weird hole in the ground with a humming coming from it, find out what's causing it. It can only lead to good things. They find a strange glowing blue alien rock and decide to touch it because, again, can only end with good things. They get superpowers from it. Not quite sure how they found out that they did because the camera was broken when that happened, but whatever, they have superpowers. So how will they use their newly discovered gifts? By screwing with people, of course. Not gonna lie, I'd probably do that first, too. It's fun at first, but things take a dark turn when Andrew causes a guy to crash into a ravine. This makes them decide that they need to set some ground rules, the main one being not to hurt anyone. They all agree, and things are fine for a while. But things start getting worse for Andrew, and it becomes clear he's starting to become a supervillain, and one that has to be stopped. I like to view this movie as 2 films that were flawlessly combined together. One of them is about how fun superpowers can be if used on a small scale, to hide that you actually have them. And another is a dark story about how someone became a supervillain. Both of them are very enjoyable for their own different reasons, but when combined together in the way they have been here, they're even better. Now, for the fun aspects, it's really enjoyable. I like seeing these guys flying around, using their powers to build Lego sets and stuff. It's really fun. And I really enjoy watching it, and it just shows how awesome superpowers can really be. Especially if you're someone who's just normal and just wants to have fun with them, which is really awesome. And I like how seeing, these guys aren't right off the bat just trying to do good with their superpowers. They're just like, screw it, let's just have some fun with them. And I really enjoy seeing that. This is a really enjoyable part of the movie, and it's something that really does showcase how fun superpowers really are. Especially if you're not really using them for saving people right off the bat. Eventually that is what they start doing with them, but still, right off the bat, they do just decide to have fun with them. Then there's the interesting stuff with how Andrew becomes a supervillain, and it's handled really well. We get to see very naturally how he slowly became one, and it's really interesting to watch. Honestly, I was kind of debating as to which part I like of this movie more. When he's becoming a supervillain, or when he's just sort of that kind of normal but still kind of socially awkward guy. Both aspects for him are very well handled, and I like seeing him in both aspects. They're very well done, and it definitely does add a whole lot more to this story. I like seeing how our main character ended up becoming the main villain of the movie, and the way that's done is very good, and you still do feel sympathy for him because you still saw where he came from. I like seeing how that's handled, and it's done very well. There is also sort of the mystery aspect to it, which isn't as prominent in the film, but it is still there. The mystery is sort of about what the rock is that gave them their powers. Yeah, it's not really in it all that much, but it is still there, in particular at the end when Matt decides he's gonna go find out what really happened and why. And I do still like seeing how that was handled as well. It's sort of a very undertone level of mystery that if you really do want to find out, then you probably could do some more research in the movie and you could probably see it. It's just the way that's done is very well handled, and yeah, it's sort of there, but it's not the main point of the film. The main point is to see the downward spiral of a pretty decent person and how they became what they, well, ended up being, and how truly kind of tragic that is. And I did really love the way that was handled here. It's very interesting. It's a fun experience as well, with some underlying mystery to it. Also, one thing that I want to bring up, I like how the reason why Andrew's recording everything isn't just because, oh, documentation or documentary or something like that, like so many other found footage movies do, or like we're doing a web series. Like, okay, yeah, Casey does do a blog, and that's why she films everything, but the reason why Andrew does has a lot more meaning to it, I think. Now, yeah, okay, you could just see it as he's trying to get evidence on his dad being abusive in case if he ever needs to turn it in, which, yeah, that is something that he does say that he's doing. Heck, he even says that in the opening scene, which, by the way, has some nice foreshadowing to the ending scene of the movie, which I really like. So, that's just a little thing. But, there is also kind of another reason for me, at the very least. It's, to me, I sort of see it as an outlet that he has, as sort of something just to take his mind off of everything that's going on. I mean, he doesn't really need to film everything that's going on at his school and with his friends and stuff if he's just trying to get evidence on his dad. It's also kind of an outlet for him to just sort of forget about everything that's bad in his life, like his mother dying and stuff like that. It's really nice to see him actually just sort of have a little bit of an outlet, and I think that does make a whole lot of sense. And yeah, okay, sure, it is sort of a loose reason that's never really gone into, but I don't think that really needs to be. It's something that I just sort of think add a whole lot more to his character and the story. And I think was just sort of a nice little thing that, to me, I just sort of saw added. And I did like how there was actually a reason for filming, not just being documentation or documentary or something like that, because really that's just kind of getting old with found footage movies, and I like how there's actually a bit more of a reason to it. That also has a little bit more of an emotional aspect. So for the story overall, it's really well handled. It's both fun and also interesting, with an underlying aspect of mystery to it, and a lot of things that you can read into in this. It's a very enjoyable movie and one with a very well handled story. So for the story overall, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, as yeah, there are some things like why the Rock was here and stuff and how it worked and everything that isn't really explained all that much, and some other minor sub things, but that would just be kind of nitpicky. Overall, it's a really well handled story, and I really do enjoy the way that it's done. But that's just the story. Are the characters also well handled? Well, I've kind of already indicated that they are, but let's get into it. So for the characters, let's start with the main ones. Sometimes, yeah, the movie sometimes does switch perspective, and near the end it is more about Matt than it is about Andrew, but let's talk about Andrew first. So, yeah, I've already gotten to what happens with Andrew. Pretty much he slowly but surely becomes a supervillain, but it's the way that it's handled with him that really makes it work. His actor does a great job, and I really do like the way that he portrays the character. He very well captures the sort of social awkwardness and also the very insecure character, and I really do like just sort of comparing how he was at the beginning to how he is at the end. He becomes so unhinged and deranged, and a part of me kind of wanted him to be saved, but another part kind of knew there was no real saving him, and I did like the way that that was handled. It's a tragic fate for the character, but still, there was nothing else that really could have been done there. He was just gonna hurt more people, and yeah, his character was very sympathetic though still, so yeah, there is a very interesting conflict for not just Matt, but also the audience. And I do like how that's handled. And I do really like following this character that we ended up just having as a villain. I like seeing him slowly have that happen. There are very few movies that can actually pull that off, especially with, well, the runtime of a movie. With a show, you get more time to handle that, but with a movie, you have much less. And yeah, this one really didn't have all that much time to handle that, but the way that was handled was very well done, and it's definitely one of the better good guys becomes a villain stories out there. Or at the very least, movie wise. Shows do get more time to handle them, but still, movie wise, I really do like how this was handled. And then we also have Matt, and I really like his character too. Now, it takes a while for him to really get much of a character. At first, he's kind of just sort of more popular than Andrew, but still hangs out with him. I don't know why, but for some odd reason, he kind of reminded me of Dennis from Christine. Like, he's that kind of popular guy who kind of hangs out with a nerdy guy, and yeah, I did still like him in the beginning, but it's over the course of the movie that we get to learn more about him, and that I found him more interesting. Now, this mainly comes in through the ending, where there's definitely some hard choices for him to make, and I really did sort of feel sympathetic for him here. I didn't want to have him make that choice, and the choices that he did have to make were really sad ones, and you can see how they affected him, and I like the way that was handled. He's a very likable main character, and one that I really enjoyed following. Well, okay, he's kind of the main character, yeah, like I've said, Andrew's mostly it, but near the end he kind of becomes it. But yeah, so he's a very likable character, and one that I really did enjoy following, and he's pretty much the good guy at the end of the movie when all is said and done, and I really like him. Honestly, I think that they were to do a sequel, which, yes, that has been rumored that there might be one. I wouldn't really hate seeing one, as I would like to see more with him, but still, all that you can really do from here is him finding out about The Rock, and that's kind of what was hinted at the end, but still, that's kind of all that can be done with this. And yeah, I did kind of like having that mystery there, but yeah, I'm more talking about what's happening with the sequel, which has been in development hell for a while, so we're probably not going to get it anyway. But still, if that were to ever happen, I wouldn't mind following Matt again and seeing how much he's grown and how he's become a better person. Really, I do enjoy Matt's character, and he's very likable. And then we have Steve. I personally like Steve a little bit more than Matt's. I think it's just sort of that he was a bit more of a likable character, like right from the beginning, and I just sort of found him more enjoyable. And also, Michael B. Jordan does a great job with this performance. Really, all the actors do, as they portray this as a very realistic sort of film, and I do love the way they do work off of each other. And yeah, they did actually spend a lot of time getting to know each other off screen, so that is very nice that, well, they both were friends in movie and on set. So I did like seeing how their sort of friendship came off very well. And yeah, Steve is a really good character in this. He's sort of that popular jock-like character, so you would kind of think that's all that he would be for most of the movie, but he's really not. Instead, he's actually mostly just a very likable and nice guy, and one that you just really enjoy watching. He's a very regular guy, and he's very nice to talk with. He's just a very likable character, which I was really glad to see they just didn't go down the route of, oh yeah, you know, I mean, he's just sort of that jock type character. I really did like that that's not all that he is, and I mean, yeah, okay, he is popular and he's kind of jock-like. I mean, they never really say if he's in sports or anything, but I don't know, I feel like it's sort of implied that he is with all the trophies he has, but still, yeah, he is still a very likable character, and that's not all that he is, which is really nice. Then we got some of the weaker characters, like Casey. Yeah, remember her and all her importance in this movie? Like, she's there. She has a bit of a relationship with Matt. That's kind of it, really. Yeah, just sort of, she's there, she films stuff for her blog, and she dates Matt for a while, and then for most of the climax, she's screaming at the top of her lungs. And yeah, that's kind of it with her, really. Just sort of that. She's alright, I guess. I mean, yeah, there's nothing really wrong with her. It's just, honestly, I think that she's probably the weakest main character out of the bunch here, as yeah, she's not really in it all that much, and when she is, I just sort of am like, oh, yeah, she exists, doesn't she? Oh, well, hi, welcome back to the movie. That's kind of all I feel for her, and yeah, I mean, maybe if we saw a little bit more with her and Matt and their relationship starting to get going, then maybe I would have liked her a whole lot more, but really, that's not in it that much. It's just sort of they talk for a little bit, she doesn't like him, and then she does because they talk some more, and then they're both at a party together. It's kind of it. So, yeah. Oh, and also then she's just sort of willing to drive into a very dangerous situation with them because, yeah, they talk some more. Now they're friends and boyfriend and girlfriend now. Yay, good for them. So, yeah, that's kind of it with her, really. I don't know. Again, maybe if the sequel that supposedly will happen does happen, then maybe we will get to see more with her. And I would actually like to see her trying to deal with Matt having superpowers and stuff. But yeah, the way that's been going, I don't really think that's gonna happen. And if it does, it's probably not going to be very soon. So yeah, really, yeah, right now as is, she's just sort of there and she's alright, but she kind of blended into the background to me. Then we have Richard, which is Andrew's dad, and I will say, honestly, this is one of those characters that you like, but you also don't like. Not really a love to hate, just you like and don't. Now, the performance on his part is very well done, and I do like the way that his character is handled here. However, you're also supposed to dislike this guy. He's very abusive to his son, and he's always drinking, and well, he's just overall not a very nice guy. But you can sort of see why. He used to be a firefighter until his wife got sick. Then he sort of spent all of his time worrying about her and trying to provide for her in order to get her medicine and life supports. And yeah, it does make sense to why he would kind of become an alcoholic and ergo abusive because of that. So really, I think it's more what sort of happened beforehand that makes him more interesting, but still, I can definitely see why he is the way that he is, and there is an interesting aspect to him. It's just, yeah, he is still sort of that kind of hateable character, and one that I didn't really like watching all that much, because, yeah, I really don't like this guy. But then again, that's how you're supposed to feel. So, yeah, really, I'm kind of mixed on him. Although, one thing I want to bring up with this guy is his original death. Yeah, in the movie, he doesn't actually die. He's saved from death at the last minute. But originally, his death was going to be awesome. And pretty much, remember that spider Andrew ripped limb from limb and stuff when he was testing out his powers and when he became a little bit more evil? Yeah, just replace that spider with his dad, and then you have Richard's death. That was deemed too hard to film. Again, a pattern here is starting to form because deaths that were going to be really cool to see don't happen. Curse you, low budgets. Although, yeah, I do, honestly, I kind of wish that we actually got to see that, because that would have been really interesting death. I really do think that would have been one of those really unique deaths that would have been kind of iconic in a way, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But still, I can still imagine it, and it would be pretty cool. That's just sort of something that I wanted to bring up, because I just find that to be awesome sounding. And then, of course, we also got Andrew's mother. Now, she's not really in it that much, but she's sort of more of a humanity anchor for Andrew, and does also motivate a lot of what he does in the climax. And I will say that she is a likable character, and I can't see why Andrew cares so much about her, not just because, well, she's his mother, but also because she's a very nice woman, and, oh yeah, he did kind of need that at this point, and yeah, I do really like, and yeah, she is a good character, just that she's not really in it that much, so yeah, I can't really say that much about her outside of she's alright, and she does work sort of more to see a more humanity side of Andrew, but still, yeah, I think that we do mostly get that from through most of the movie, and if she were to have been already dead at the beginning, I don't think that much would have been changed. I mean, some things would have, but I don't think that much. So yeah, overall, for the characters, I'm gonna give them a 7, as yeah, there are some that are definitely lacking in some areas, but there are still a whole lot more that do make up for it, and I definitely do really enjoy the cast that we have here, and yeah, most of them have gone on to do really good things, and yeah, I do still really like that they are still really good in the business still. So yeah, I really do like the characters in this, and they're all very enjoyable for the most part, or interesting. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for the characters. So for this movie overall, I really enjoy it. It's a really, really good movie, and one that is very interesting, very fun, and has a very good mix of both of those. It has sort of an underlying mystery aspect to it, but that's not really the most important thing about it. The most important thing is that, well, it's sort of just the story of a man who just sort of had a tragic downfall and what led to that, and the way that it's handled is very well done. With very good characters, with, well, sure, some of them aren't that great, but still, overall, it does have a very good cast of characters, and I really did enjoy seeing them on this journey, and it's very interesting. If a sequel were to ever be done, I wouldn't mind watching it. I think that could be handled very well if done correctly. Although, given how it's been going, yeah, I don't know how it will turn out, but maybe one day we'll get that. But as is, it's a very good movie, and I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it yet. So overall, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It's a very, very good movie, and I just sort of love it. If you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely do check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. So next week, we will be finishing Found Footage Month after January. At least I'm only 1 week behind this time. But yeah, we will be finishing it up while returning back to horror with Creep. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.